Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about circumference of a circle, and we are going to be able to find the formula, write the formula, and to substitute the values in to find the circumference. The first thing we need to know is that the circumference measures the distance around a circle. Okay? It measures the distance around a circle. It's basically the perimeter for a circle. It has a fancy name. So it's the distance around. We're going to go ahead and draw a picture of a circle, and we want to understand that circumference measures the distance around, all the way around. So it's a fancy name for perimeter of a circle. It's called what? Circumference. Very good. Question says, what are the two formulas for circumference? We're going to talk about the formula chart. What we need to do is we need to find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. Find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. And we're looking for circumference. So I'm going to take my mathematics chart. I'm going to look for the word circumference, and then I'm going to point to the word circle. And when we run our finger across, it shows that we have two different formulas that we can use. Whether we use this formula or this formula, if we substitute our values in correctly, we will get the same answer, okay? So let's go ahead and write those formulas down since we've located them correctly. C equals 2 pi r, and the other one is C equals pi d, okay? So we are going to talk about what the symbols and the variables stand for. The D in the second formula, the D, what do you think it stands for since we're talking about a circle? The D, absolutely, it stands for diameter. And the diameter is the distance all the way across the center of the circle. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the diameter is all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and label that D. Then it says R. What do you think the R stands for? You got it. Radius. Radius is half of the diameter. How many of you sometimes get confused on the radius and the diameter? I'm going to give you a trick to remember that. Look at diameter. Diameter is a longer word. It has more letters. So guess what? Diameter is the line that goes all the way across. See how radius is a shorter word with fewer letters in the alphabet? Radius is the shorter word, and radius is half of the diameter. So if the diameter was 10, what would the radius be? 5. Very good. What if the diameter was 24? What would the radius be? 12. Very good. Okay. Now, let's look at the next symbol, pi. The pi symbol is represented here. In case you do not know the value of pi, guess what? Go to your mathematics chart and look where it says additional information. It says pi, and then it says the pi symbol. It has squiggly equal sign. That means approximately. Pi is approximately 3 and 1400ths, 3.14. It also writes it as a fraction, but for this, we want to go ahead and substitute 3.14. So pi equals approximately 3.14. Okay, so remember we need to find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. So if you look down below, okay, we have a circle. What is drawn in the circle? The radius or the diameter? Yep, the diameter, because it goes all the way across. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll a dice, and I want you to write this number on your diameter. Ready? 3. Go ahead and write the diameter as 3. So let's go ahead and write our formula. Since we're given the diameter, we could pick from either of these, but which one do you think would be easiest since it's given us our diameter? The first formula or the second formula? Yeah, I agree. The second formula will be a little bit easier since we are given the diameter, and this formula uses D, the diameter. So let's go ahead. We've already found the formula. Let's go ahead and write the formula. I'm going to write the formula in our box, and I'm also going to write it up here to the side. And since I've written the formula, find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. Absolutely. I'm going to substitute the values underneath. Do we know the circumference in this example? Do we know the distance around the circle? No. So we bring down our C. The value of pi is, 3.14. When I substitute values in, I substitute them in parentheses. Next, I see D for diameter, which is all the way across, so I put A3 in that spot. Two things side by side means to multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. When I'm multiplying decimals, do I need to line them up? Nope, I only line them up whenever we're adding and subtracting decimals. When we are multiplying decimals, we pretend like the decimal isn't even there at first, and we multiply them like regular. 4 times 3, 12, carry your lonely guy. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 lonely guy is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Is my answer 942? No way. Now we have to think about our decimal rules. When I'm multiplying by decimals, I have to count how many total numbers are in my problem behind the decimal. So there's 1 number, 2 numbers behind the decimal in my problem. So in my product, the answer to a multiplication problem, how many numbers are going to be behind the decimal in my product? 2. Very good. So 1, 2. There's where my decimal goes. So my answer, or my solution, is 9 42/100. Now, students, let's look. We have to think about half of a circle. There's not a formula on our formula chart for half of a circle, but think about it. We're going to do pi times diameter, and what do we want if we want half of this value? Yeah, we're going to half it. So all we have to do is half our pi times diameter. Okay, well, didn't we already do all of that work? Absolutely. So 9 42/100, what could we do? The same as multiplying as that half, divide by 2. So let's go over to the side in our workspace and do 9 42/100 divided by 2. If you need to draw your division guy to help you, your division man, I look at one number at a time. 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 4. 2 goes into 14 7 times. And 2 goes into 2 1 time. Now be careful, students. On dividing decimals, we're just going to bring that decimal straight up. That's why it's very important to be neat. Bring that decimal straight up. Boom. That's where it lands. So our answer is 4 71/100. Now, sometimes it might, instead of a semicircle is half of a circle. Sometimes it's going to have a quarter circle. A quarter circle is if we took this and cut it in quarters. Quarters means there would be 4 sections in this circle, okay? So instead of doing a half this time, we're going to take our pi times diameter, and we are going to divide by 4. And remember, dividing by 4 is the same as multiplying times a 4. So let's take our original amount, 9 42/100, and this time we're going to divide by 4. You got it. So out to the side of my workspace, I'm going to do 9 42/100 divided by 4. Okay, let's work it out. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract 9 minus 8 is 1. The goatee says bring down. 4 goes into 14 3 times. And notice how I went ahead and brought my decimal up so I didn't get messy. 4 goes into 22 5 times. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So 2 decimal 355. And on this one it might say round to the nearest tenths place or something like that. But that's just in case so we know how to do it. Okay? Alright, let's try down below. This time let's take a look. And what is given to us in our problem? What's drawn in our circle? Halfway across, what was that called? The radius. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. Oh, we don't want 3 again. All right, 5. So our radius is going to be 5. Let's go ahead and label it on our paper. And if I'm looking for the circumference, I need to find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. So we're looking for the formula that would be best for using the radius. So when I get my mathematics chart, my reference material, I look for the word circumference. And since it's given me the radius, which one do you think would be better to use? Remember, both of them will give us the same answer, but since it's given us the radius, yep, let's go ahead and use this one. So the formula, since I found it, now I need to write it. So my formula is going to be C equals 2 pi r. Find the formula, write the formula, plug the numbers in. So out my workspace, C equals 2 pi r. Plug it in, plug it in. Woo. We don't know what the circumference is, so we're going to bring a C down. Equal sign. What do I see next to my formula? 2. Very good. What do I see next? Pi. What's the value of pi? 3.14. Very good. We don't forget to substitute it in parentheses so we don't accidentally think that's 23 and 1400ths. The R, radius. What's the value of our radius? 5. Excellent. 2 things side by side means to multiply. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and multiply 2 times 3 and 1400ths. So out of my workspace, I'm going to do 3 and 1400ths times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, I'm multiplying decimals. So how many numbers are behind the decimal in my factor in my problem? 1, 2. So how many numbers will be behind the decimal in my product, the answer to a multiplication problem? 2. Very good. So 6 and 2800ths. Are we done? Let's cross out what we've done so far. We did 3 and 1400ths times 2. So now we want to take that product and we still need to multiply it times 5. So let's go ahead and multiply. 8 times 5, 40. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 lonely guys, 14. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1, 31. How many numbers are behind the decimal in my factor in the problem? 2. So how many numbers will be behind the decimal in my product? 2. So my answer, the distance around the circle, the circumference, is 31.40. But now, what if it was a semicircle? What if it was just half of the circle, like that? We would have to take our formula and do it just like we did it, but then we would have to divide by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. And when you're done, I want you to look up. No cheating. Don't look up until you're done taking our circumference and dividing by 2. Let's practice that division. Don't look up. When you're done, you may look to see if your answer is the same as mine. If so, good job. If not, that's all right. Just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. Now it asks us for a quarter. So if we want a quarter of our circle, we need a fourth of it. To get a fourth of it, we need to divide by 4. So let's take our original. Let's get our whole circle's value. We already got it. And we're going to divide by 4. Go ahead and do this in your workspace. And don't look up until you're done. Practice that division. Don't look up. Okay, check my work because I made a mistake a minute ago. Do you guys agree with my answer? Okay. So that would be the distance around a quarter circle. Good job, everybody.